What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. I don't typically do TCG exclusive archetypes with just their first wave of support, but I felt Ashen got enough cards to make it work a little bit more than others, making it feel worthwhile. But first, if you could burn those thumbs up and subscribe buttons to Ashes, it would mean a whole lot. I would also like to mention that I'll be doing these combos based on the version that I am running, and as you may have seen others try a bunch of different stuff online, some of which I'll be going over during the deck profile. The first card that we have here is Awakening of Vados. It's a quick play spell, unfortunately not an Ashen card, but it reads, place one Obsidian the Ashen City from your deck face up in either field zone. Then, if your opponent controls a card in their field zone, you can add one level 5 or higher Dark Pyro monster from your deck to your hand. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the deck or extra deck except Pyro monsters. You can only activate one Awakening per turn, and the restriction that you may not be able to special summon from the deck or extra deck unless they're Pyro monsters may feel a little bit harsh, but this is the only card that has it, and it is not searchable, so I don't think that you have to deck build totally around it. It also doesn't matter too much in regards to your end board when you activate it, since you get the combo setup that you want to get, but we're now going to activate it, and then we can add ourselves the Vados, which is our next new card. You'll also see that we gave our opponent a field spell, Obsidian the Ashen City, and this card reads, face up special summon monsters your opponent controls becomes Pyro during your turn only. You can only use each of the following effects of Obsidian once per turn. During your end phase, you can target one Obsidian in your graveyard as a cost, place it on the bottom of your deck, then draw one card. If this card in the field zone is destroyed or banished, you can special summon one Ashen monster from your deck. So the key words there are destroyed or banished that you'll want to remember for your combos, especially while I go over the deck profile later on. But then we have Vados the Eruption Dragon, and this one reads, during the main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can target one card in a field zone as a cost, special summon this card to your opponent's field, and if you do, destroy that card. Then you can add to your hand or set one Ashen continuous trap from your deck. If this card is sent to your opponent's field to the graveyard, you can destroy all monsters on the field. You can only use each effect of Vados once per turn. So we're going to continue here by using our Vados effect, which will pop the field spell, and then we'll be able to trigger the field spell as we did destroy it. We'll also get the continuous trap here, which will be our next new card, Ashen for Eternity, a continuous trap that reads, when this card is activated, you can add one Vados the Eruption Dragon or one Ashen monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that you own as a cost, take control of that monster. Then you can make all face-up monsters your opponent control lose attack equal to the targeted monster's original attack. This attack change lasts until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Ashen for Eternity once per turn, and you can only activate one Ashen for Eternity once per turn. Now this is an important card for being able to continue your turn. Once your opponent has finished theirs and you're going on to your turn, you can just get more damage this way. You're also able to get your Vados back to your hand, which will be important as well for your opponent's turn. But we're going to continue here by using the effect of Obsidian, and now we're going to special summon out our next new card directly from the deck, King of the Ashen City. It reads, if Obsidian is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon King once per turn this way. During your main phase, you can special summon one Ashen monster from your hand, except King, or if your opponent controls a monster with 2800 or more attack, which we gave them, you can special summon it from your deck instead. You can only use this effect of King once per turn. Now we're going to use the effect of King in order to get our next new card, and we'll bring out the hero. It's a level 7 that reads, if Obsidian is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon hero once per turn this way. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target one Pyro monster on the field, destroy it. Then, if you destroyed Vados the Eruption Dragon, by this effect, you can place one Obsidian from your deck face up in the field zone. You can only use this effect of hero once per turn. So we're going to continue by using the effect of hero, which will pop the Vados, and this will get Vados in the graveyard for our trap card while also getting us the field spell, which will give us a draw during the end phase, but it also means that we can use the Vados on our opponent's turn in order to pop the field spell, special summon it out, give our opponent the Vados, which means that we can use the hero at any point during their turn, and then turn it into a nuke. So we'll then be able to go on to the end phase here where we'll get the draw, then be able to pass on to our opponent where we'll see them draw a card. We'll use the effect of the Eternity to get our Vados back. The moment that your opponent does anything, you can use the effect of Vados, as we'll give them the Vados, pop our field spell, use the effect effect of the field spell, then you can get yourself whatever Ashen monster you may like to. I'm just going to get the Priestess because it's the next new card that I would like to talk about, and it's a level 4 that reads, if Obsidian is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. So you'll see that all the Ashen monsters have that, but you can only special summon Priestess once per turn this way. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Ashen card from your deck to your hand, except Priestess. You can only use this effect of Priestess once per turn. So you could see how Awakening would have been really strong if it was an Ashen card, just because we do have a searcher for it, and it is a Pyro level 4, which means that we can add it off of Bonfire, but we're now going to use its effect in order to add ourselves the Obsidian, and then we'll pass on to our opponent and let them play before we continue ourselves. Now, as stated, we do play Bonfire because we play the Priestess, of course, and then we're going to activate the Bonfire, get ourselves the Priestess. The Priestess will be able to get ourselves the Obsidian, and this is something that I would like to say. As you saw in the previous combo, if you have Field Spell plus the Vados, it means that you have combo. The difference with this is that we didn't use the Quick Play, so we aren't locked into Pyro monsters for our extra deck. And we're then going to activate the Obsidian, and it locks you into the deck from summoning from the deck also, but it's more important the extra deck part since you're going to be linking stuff away. But we're going to pop the Obsidian, get ourselves the Eternity, as we'll be able to use the effect of the Field Spell to get ourselves the King, use the effect of the King for the hero, then use the effect of the hero to pop the Vados. We'll then be able to put the Field Spell into our field zone, as we'll go into our IP Masquerena, go to the end phase for the draw, and now we have the SP Little Knight, effect of the Eternity, which will add back the Vados, which we can give to our opponent, and the rest really depends on what your hand is, but this is just a solid starting point for the deck in my opinion, especially since we're expected to get a second wave of support during the next set. Now for the final combo, before I get onto the test hand, and the only reason that I'm only doing 3 combos is because Field Spell plus Vados is the only real combo that this deck has, along with the ways to get there, so it's pretty repetitive, and we're going to start by normal summoning our Priestess, get ourselves the Obsidian, as we'll then be able to activate the Obsidian, activate the Bonfire, and as you saw, all Ashen monsters can special summon themselves from the hand if you control the Field Spell, so we'll now be able to go into a rank 4 as we're going to go into the Infernal Flame Banshee, and the point of this is so that you can add yourself a Pyro monster from the deck to the hand, as we don't want to send it to the graveyard in this particular deck, but this gives us the Vados plus the Field Spell, and this means that we can use the effect of the Vados popping the Field Spell. The Field Spell will then be able to get ourselves the King, as we do get ourselves the hero, or the Eternity, off of the Vados, and then we're going to use the effect of King for the hero, as we'll then be able to use the effect of hero, pop the Vados to get ourselves the Field Spell. We'll then be able to link away into IP, go into the Promethean Princess, use the effect of Princess, bringing back the Banshee. We can then go into the Swarm Ship, and this gives us a little bit extra to make our opponent play around with the Promethean Princess now in the graveyard. Sure, it does lock you into fire when it's on your board, but you can just go into Hida and get it back into the graveyard that way. That said, the entire point of this is to give you that extra disruption, since as you can see, the Ashen monsters on their own really aren't doing much, and you're relying a lot on that board wipe off of Vados that you get after popping it via the hero. So for the first test hand, and you'll see that we are on Dimension Shifter, and we really don't care too much about our graveyard in this particular deck, as we're going to activate the Awakening, chain the Shifter. We'll be able to then get the Field Spell onto our opponent's board, and as you see, we happen to draw some of our high levels also, which is one of the downsides in this deck. It is very easy to break with the hero and the King along with the Vados if you don't see your Field Spell, but we're then going to use the Field Spell as it was banished so that we can bring out our King, and then we can use the effect of the King in order to special summon out the hero. We can then normal summon the Priestess, use the effect of the Priestess, as we'll add ourselves Obsidian, and then we can activate the Obsidian. We aren't going to use the effect of the hero here, as we are playing under Shifter, but that's perfectly fine, since it means that we can go onto our opponent's turn, have them with the Vados so that they can't use Imperm or Evenly or anything like that, and they still have to play under Shifter. So even if they do link it away, it doesn't matter too much, since they are sending their own stuff to the banish zone as well. For this next test hand, you'll see that we are on the small world, and this is just one of the ways to get one of your high levels out of hand. You can also reveal the Shifter, making the Shifter a little bit more important in this deck, as you'll see, which gets us the Vados, and now we have Vados plus Field Spell, so that's really nice, as we're just going to activate the Vados now. We can pop the Field Spell. We'll be doing a lot of what we've been doing as we bring out the King, use the effect of the King, which will special summon out the hero. Hero will then pop the Vados. We'll then be able to get the Field Spell, as we'll then be able to set the Eternity, and we can pass on to our our opponent. Now for this final hand, you'll see that I want to showcase Crossout, and I just thought Crossout was cool because there is a small sub-engine that I am playing as well. So we're going to start here by normal summoning the Priestess, use its effect in order to get ourselves the Obsidian. We'll then be able to activate the Obsidian, and then special summon out the Vados onto our opponent's board by popping the Obsidian. We'll then be able to get ourselves the Eternity, use the effect of the Obsidian, which will special summon out King, use the effect of King in order to bring out the hero. We'll then be able to use the hero, get ourselves the field spell by popping the Vados, as we'll then be able to activate the Crossout. Now, we're going to just call Nib. You can do whatever you want here, but the point of it is so that you can use the Bonfire, getting yourself the Nemesis flag, and now you can use the Nemesis flag in order to special summon it, and then use the Nemesis flag from the field in order to get yourself the Surge for the Ashatos. And now you can start linking away into your IP Masquerena, go into the Dark because you want the extra typing, go into the Promethean Princess, use the effect of Princess in order to bring back flag, go into the Swarm Ship. Now we can special summon out Ashatos, and the really cool thing about this is, once you declare the monster type being Dragon, which is what you're usually going to call, because we're headed into a Snake Eyes format where your opponent is most of the time going to be playing the Snake Eye cards, it means that they have to summon Flamber's Dragon, so you're locking them out of that, which can be pretty important in their combos and can prevent them from playing altogether. So with all of the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and there are some things that I would like to mention how the Crossout and the Called By are in the side deck, and it's because I did feel the Prosperity consistency was important. There is a lot of ways to brick with this deck, as you have your going second cards along with all these high levels, the Eternity, you're also playing the Arch Nemesis stuff, so it really isn't all roses. That said, there is a lot of other options I've seen people try. Fenrir being able to get yourself the Kashtira Rise Heart can get you into an Exceed play via the Infernal Flame Banshee and the Priestess, so that's kind of cool. Then I would also like to mention the Nib and the Veiler for Crossout if you do choose to play it. There's also the Nemesis Corridor, which is just an extra extender, also a level 4, but you're not really banishing too much in this deck. I've also seen people try stuff like Centurion and the Salamandrate stuff, but I just feel like you're going out of your way in order to play that stuff and just adding a lot of things into your main deck that you don't really need. Then I also would like to talk about Revolution Synchron. I just don't think that it's necessary because it leads you into Pandora's box of combos, which is not what this deck is trying to do in my opinion. But then I would also like to talk about the Dogmatica package, which I've seen a lot of people mention, and the reason why I don't like it is because it just plays so hard into Droll. And then finally there's the Horus engine, which is something else that you can play. I don't really like it too much though, as you don't want to discard stuff in this deck, and there's still a chance that you see a hefty amount of going second stuff or just cards that you may not want to discard overall. So that's why I'm choosing against the Horus package, and why I'm choosing to play just the pure version with 2 extra cards via the Nemesis flag and the Arch Nemesis Ashatos while we wait for the new cards. Outside of that, we play the 3 Vados and the 3 Field Spell just because we want to see them as much as possible. This is your combo. Then we play the 2/2 of the Hero and King because you still want to keep one of each in deck so that you can special summon King out so that you can then bring your hero and continue on your combo. Then the 3 Priestess and the 3 Awakening are just very important cards for this deck. Same thing with the 3 Bonfire, which as you saw can turn the Nemesis flag into an extender, especially if you are maining or siding the Crossout designators, which is really cool. There's also Bestials and things that you can play as well. With all of that out of the way, I'm just going to get onto the card by card as I don't have too much else to say. And we have the 3 Priestess, the 3 Awakening, the 3 Prosperity, the 3 Bonfire, the 1 Flag, the 1 Arch Nemesis, the 2 Small Worlds, the 1 Terraforming, the 3 Obsidian, the 1 Eternity. We then have the 3 Vados, the 2 Kings, the 2 Heroes, the 3 Shifter, the 3 Ash Blossoms, the 3 Drolls, and the 3 Imperms to round out the main deck. The extra deck is just rank 4s, as you see here, for the Priestess plus another Priestess, which is really the only Exceed plays that you're making. So we have the number 41, Dweller, Infernal Flame Banshee. We then have the Big Eye, because if you're going to special summon out multiple of these, it's usually the hero. So that's why I chose the rank 7 over the rank 8, though you could choose a rank 8 instead. Then we have the Zeus. We also have the Typhon. Akashic Magician is a cool way to get your Vados back into your hand, playing through potential hand traps that might negate your stuff. You're also playing a deck full of Pyros. So then we have the SP Little Knight, the IP Masquerena, Dark and Hida. We have Promethean Princess, Swarm Ship, Appaloosa, and Underworld Goddess to round round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 700 plus subs. I truly appreciate your support. Now that we've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. To get the channel membership, just click on the description below and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing out.